So Yara, thank you from all of us for being here to speak to us today. Welcome to the podium.
I just want to say hi first and foremost. Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I just wanted to let this class know how grateful I am that you chose little old me to celebrate such a big day, such a monumental day. And it's really surreal because I remember my own day of graduation, which quite honestly was not too long ago. And I really do share the joy and adventures of moving on and moving forward. I wanted to preface my reflections by saying that I consider each of us extremely fortunate and abundant to have been given the opportunity to find an education in spaces like at a Westridge, to be able to interface with education in a way that provides spaces to explore interests that turn into projects that then turn into lifelong passions. And we all know, and many people have said before, that there is absolutely no way we made it to the finish line alone. So first, I just wanted to take a moment of gratitude to say thank you to everyone who has supported us on this journey, to your classmates, to your friends, to your teachers, advisors, parents, siblings, extended family, and anyone who has been there for these long nights. So thank you. Okay, so as it was said before, a lot of you may know me as Yara Shahidi. I am a super curious, ever-evolving young human that is obsessed with learning, loves reading, and obsessed with James Baldwin. Really obsessed with James Baldwin, if I'm being honest. I love music, and I love just expanding my global community, all while wearing sweats. I got fancy for you all today. And some of you may know me as Zoe Johnson, the oh-so-confident, very stylish young human who has graduated from high school and is now experiencing an exciting, chaotic, turbulent, friend-filled college life in the public eye, aka television. And the reason I bring this up is that for the past 6 years, I've basically gone through school twice. And in these journeys as a student, as an entrepreneur, an artist, and most importantly, as a socially engaged human, I've collected some really invaluable observations that I would love to share with you all. And I think just from hearing all the speakers prior, I believe that so many of them are already shared. Number one, having maintained a full school load all while working for the past 6 years, I've literally defined what it means to be in a juggling act, and there were times in which I was working 70 hours a week. But what I've realized is that my juggling act is in no means the anomaly. Looking at what I and so many of my peers, and evidently what this class has gone through, I've come to the conclusion that there's no such thing as just being a full-time student, and that everyone, indeed, is in any way in their own juggling act. Whether you are in band or the debate team, an athlete, a babysitter, balancing academic, social, work, and familial commitments, etc., everybody has multiple things that are going on in their lives. And the reason I bring this up is because it's very important to acknowledge this, since so many times we underplay how truly impressive we are. And if we were to examine our identities and responsibilities that we assume throughout our lives, I'm sure that there are some things that we've forgotten or some things that we have undervalued. And the first thing I've learned from my character Zoe is that we should celebrate ourselves. Some may say that she's self-centric, but I would dare say that she is self-invested and self-assured, which take me to the words of Audre Lorde, in which she says, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is an act of self-preservation." My second point, our grade point average is important, but not nearly as important as we think. The reason I bring this up is because I, Yara Shahidi, was a GPA-obsessed person, always calculating how a quiz or project would affect my cumulative grade. And here's a true story. I cried when I got a C on my first English paper freshman year of high school, like a proper sob. And when I think of that moment 5 years later, it seems absolutely ridiculous that I ever felt that that grade was a reflection of what I was and all that I could be. And I wish that I could say that that was the only time that happened throughout my academic career, but I am not one to tell a tale. I'm very grateful to my mama for snapping me out of it each and every time, for reminding me that the goal will always be to learn. And from this experience, I learned, 1, that a 5.0 GPA does not correlate to my self-worth, and quite honestly does not exist in the real world. 2, that the reason I was impacted so deeply by my grades in high school was because I was looking for something to quantify my academic intelligence. That need to measure up doesn't go away, but recognizing the moment it creeps back into your life is the lesson. Life after high school, no matter the path we choose, will be riddled with faulty metrics. And if we aren't careful, we may slide into equating our worth to those outside faulty metrics in the world. Your grades, your credit score, your IG follower count, all of it. I've actively learned to detach my worth from these numbers and begin to utilize them as tools for constructive feedback. Although, sidebar, a high FICO score does make life a little easier. Because at the end of the day, we are unquantifiable. It is evident that we are too complex, too unique, too brilliant in each of our own ways to be summarized by a number. Now, I'm going to go on a slight tangent because it was at this moment of recognizing the faultiness of quantifying my worth that I arrived at an important question in my life. Well, what is the objective of a 12-year academic journey if grades ultimately do not define our greater purpose? And this is something I've grappled with for quite some time, and this is what I've settled on. For now, please feel free to tell me your own opinions afterwards. I've learned that school serves as 2 major functions. Of course, there is the literal knowledge that we gain from every class, every teacher, every book, every classmate. I mean, remember learning about everything from the French Enlightenment to how to calculate the distance of that doggone train that inevitably crosses the path of the other train. I think we've all dealt with some of those math problems. Each and every piece of information is gained and helps us contextualize how our world functions and serves as a solid foundation whether you decide to traditionally or non-traditionally continue in your academic journey. And I'm sure there have been plenty of times in which we've all questioned, how will, insert random math equation here, ever apply directly to my life? And I quite literally remember grappling with this question after hitting a wall while learning a new formula in calculus. Yet, it was in this constant conversation with myself that the second function of school became apparent to me. In school, it's where we learn how to learn. How to be open to receiving and understanding new information, new methods, new strategies, new cultures, and new people. I can confidently say that the most important thing I've learned in my educational journey has been how to care about the world around me. And it is my ability and our shared ability and desire to care, which I believe is absolutely invaluable. This takes me to the third impactful moment of learning. Now armed with a discerning eye, the ability to intake new information, and this commitment to caring, it is now your time to continue on an exciting adventure to figure out and to continue to deepen your purpose. This may seem like a daunting task, but what I've settled into is the understanding that purpose continues to evolve, shift, completely change, and solidify every second, every minute, hour, day, weekend, month, and year. And that is A-okay. After high school, you all will be going on your own wildly unique journeys, and I stand here as your peer and a young adult on my own unique path to reassure you that there is no right path, only your path. And I have to admit, this does sound like a cliche. I know we've all heard it before, but time and time again, this sentiment has been reaffirmed for me when I witness the many beautiful contributions of my peers to the world around us. In our midst, we have artists, academics, entrepreneurs, innovators, leaders, abolitionists, iconoclasts, activists, and so much more. In fact, I'm sure many of these classmates assume more than one of the titles that I've mentioned, or have even chosen to live titleless, and I just have to say kudos to you. Because it's our multivariate nature that actually fills me with hope. What I've learned from watching my mentors, such as Patrisse Cullors, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, the brilliant Janet Mock, Kimberly Crenshaw, who blessed us with the term intersectionality, actress and activist Laverne Cox, artist Carrie Mae Weems, journalist Helen Zia, CEO Moj Madara, and activist and artist Hunter Schafer, is that our global progress is dependent on our differences, on our unique titles or lack of titles, on our purpose. I urge you to explore whatever interests you, to contribute wherever you can, and ask questions where you are unsure. Number 4, as I listed a few names of game-changing women, it serves as a crucial reminder. We are a part of the most diverse generation in all aspects of the term. We assume all races, all ethnicities, gender and sexual identities, immigration statuses, religions, familial structures, etc. Yet, we also live in one of the most divisive and chaotic times in which there is a common understanding that other people's access to civil and human rights may lead to the oppression of others, where women's access to reproductive rights scarily parallels 1913, when Westridge was first founded, and when the women's liberation movement was just beginning. There's a dangerous narrative that we must unite in spite of our differences. And I urge you to not be fooled into thinking that this is a message of unity or togetherness, because those 3 words, in spite of, subtly reaffirms that it is our different identities which keep us apart, that we must erase nuances and complexities to honestly and truly be in community with one another. We must replace in spite of with the phrase because of. We unite because of our differences, because our future should be one that is identity celebratory, because our community will become more inclusive, more beautiful, and more expansive when we rid ourselves of manufactured borders. Which takes me to the most important lesson that I continue to be reminded of time and time again as both Yara and Zoe, is that our community is crucial because community becomes support. It is your Westridge community that is led by example to uplift you in times of need, your family or friends who have provided a space to grow, and your commitment to be of service to others, like the work that you have shown in your capstone projects that have demonstrated the importance of supporting each other and supporting those you may not even know. Imagine if we all asked the following question: how can I be a better, insert here, a better friend, a better neighbor, a better classmate, sibling, daughter, socially engaged human? The list goes on, and that is absolutely beautiful. There are so many ways we can continue to be of service. So if you leave the math equations behind forever, please take with you the cornerstone of Westridge's commitment to you, to continue to be of service to your global community, and to vote. I want to say congratulations to the graduating class of 2019 and end with a paraphrase of my favorite person, James Baldwin. You must know from where you came, because if you know from where you came, there are absolutely no limitations to where you can go. Thank you for having me. Thank you.